were the birth of like horror movie monsters, because without them we wouldn't have Freddy, we wouldn't have Jason, we wouldn't have Chucky, we wouldn't have Pinhead. You know, we wouldn't have so many great horror icons that came later. Hello followers, and welcome back to FanZcene, and today I have for you some of my video store memories of the Universal Monsters. The idea for this video came to me the other day. I went to my local Kroger grocery store, which I go there thousands and thousands of times. You know, I've been there a thousand times over and over and over. And for whatever reason, this one day I walked in there and I smelled Kroger's fried chicken, which, you know, they make in the back. And the smell just like took me back. It brought back this memory from when I was about 9 or 10 years old, and where I used to live when I was a kid. I remember our local area had just got its very first Kroger Supercenter, which was a big Kroger, and which, you know, was new back in that day in the 90s. And this Kroger Superstore had a video store within, you know, that was built inside of it. And me being me, I immediately begged my parents to get a membership to this local video store, because it wasn't like a huge video store. It wasn't like Blockbuster or Hollywood Video or something. It was kind of like a mom and pop video store within this Kroger. And if anybody out there remembers any of these video stores in Kroger, because for the life of me I cannot remember the name of it. If you remember the name of that video store, let me know that in the comment section below, because I've really been trying to figure this out. But anyways, so I begged my parents for this membership, and they got it for me, because every video store that ever opened around us, I was immediately getting a membership there. So we got this, and within like the first week of the grand opening, I remember going into the Kroger's, getting some fried chicken, and going to that video store and just going through the selection of movies they had. Is, you know, it wasn't huge, it wasn't fancy, but it was cool. It was cool. And I noticed the Universal Monster movies. And now I was aware of the Universal Monster movies. I've seen bits and pieces of them by that point in my life, you know, on TV, but I had, like, not too long ago seen the movie, The Monster Squad.
Once upon a time, it was one monster per movie. Those were the good old days.
We're the Monster Squad. Us? Only one way to kill a werewolf. Kick him in the nose! He doesn't have nose! Do it! Wolfman's got nose!
The Monster Squad, rated PG-13.
I had to throw that in there because the Monster Squad is actually kind of important to why I also love the Universal Monsters so much, because like I said, I had seen them, and then Monster Squad was like the first full movie I'd seen all the way through with these monsters in it, and I knew they were the Universal Monsters, and I just loved this movie so much, and I always had a fascination for the Universal Monsters. I just had never seen them all the way through. So I grabbed a couple of them, some of the first ones, rented them, and I absolutely loved them. I just watched them and watched them and watched them, and you know, when it was time to take them back, I begged to get more. So when we went back to the video store, you know, I just grabbed a handful more, because, you know, within the first weeks of the store opening, this Kroger Superstore and this video store, they were still having some like really good sales on, so you could get a lot of movies really cheap. So I grabbed as many Universal Monster movies as I could, and I just kept watching them, from Dracula to Frankenstein to the Mummy to the Gill Man to the Wolf Man, and just all the meetups and just everything. It was just my little brain was hooked on these.
I bid you welcome.
MCA Universal Home Video announces the Universal Studios Monsters Classic Collection. These are the titles monster fans have been waiting to sink their teeth into. Now, at the spectacular price of $14.98 each, suggested retail. Visit your local video retailer retailer and ask for the Universal Studios Monsters Classic Collection. Classic monster titles with a haunting new look at a price to die for.
Everybody always asks you, when you're a Universal Monster fan, what's your favorite Universal Monster? Now, don't get me wrong, I loved all of them. They're all awesome. They're all great. They all have some kind of part in my heart. But my all-time favorite Universal Monster to this day, and from the performance to the actor to just how the movie was presented, is the Wolfman. Lon Chaney Jr.'s The Wolfman. I know, most people say Dracula or the Gill Man or Frankenstein, but the Wolfman is and shall always be my favorite. Lon Chaney Jr.'s performance in that movie was so heartbreaking and so great, so perfect. The movie was so cinematic. As all of them were. There was just something about that, and for whatever reason, me and my family, we have a fascination for wolves, so we love wolves. And like the Wolfman, I don't know, the movie, the story, the acting, the sadness, and the reluctantness of this character who becomes this beast and just can never find happiness and is cursed, and I don't know, it's just such a great classic horror film that I really just truly love.
The man who was tuned off to his prayers by night had become a wolf. The wolf bade blues. The autumn moon was brightened.
After I was finally through with all of the Universal Monster movies, the original, the classics, I finally came to the Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein, which is actually part of the Universal Monsters cinematic universe, because the Universal Monster movies were actually the first cinematic universe there is. And I don't think a lot of people give Abbott and Costello's movie credit. I know so many people love it. I love it. It's one of my favorites. But it's like the birth of horror comedy. Like, these were the birth of like horror movie monsters, because without them we wouldn't have Freddy, we wouldn't have Jason, we wouldn't have Chucky, we wouldn't have Pinhead. We wouldn't have so many great horror icons that came later too, because these movies are, for all intents and purposes, what started so many people's love for horror, along with the Hammer horror movies, which also did these classic monsters as well too. Because without them, we wouldn't have them, and so without Abbott and Costello, we wouldn't have some of the great horror comedies that came along later. And what I really loved about this, and granted, we get 4 copies of it, like 4 or 5 copies of it in this Universal Monsters Blu-ray box set. So if you really love it, there you go. But anyways, what I really love about it is that Abbott and Costello, they're basically Abbott and Costello. They do this great comedy bit between them. The comedy comes from them. They're freaking hilarious. But Lon Chaney Jr., Bela Lugosi, and the Frankenstein monster, Wolfman, Dracula, and Frankenstein monster, they're all played straight. They're all played scary. And in some cases, they're a little bit even scarier than in this movie than they had been. And because, some of the later movies, they kind of got bogged down. That's what happens when you do sequel, and then people start losing interest, but they're a little bit more scarier and more intimidating in this, and this actually continues the story, like I mentioned, from the very last Universal Monster movie, that they originally did. So it actually carries over into this Abbott Costello universe world, and it was done really great. It's such a great classic films, and the performances were just brilliant all around. And I mean, it's Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein. I was kind of glad that happened that day when I walked into my local Kroger store. That memory came back to me, because I've always really, really loved the Universal Monster movies, and I don't own nearly enough of this Universal Monster stuff that I would love to have. This is just a few of it, and I've just recently started collecting the VHSs, because I love me some VHSs, and much like even other VHSs, they're really hard to find and they're really expensive, but I will eventually get as many as I possibly can. And I was so glad to finally get the Blu-ray collection this past Christmas. And I've been thinking about the 4Ks, but I think this will hold me over. I don't think I need the 4Ks of those, because I have all of them here, and I have the Wolfman. I love this DVD copy of the Wolfman, and I plan on to get more Universal stuff as time goes by, because I've always wanted so much of them, and I've never, for whatever reason, I've never been able to collect them the way I wanted to. I don't know why. It just happens that way. Sometimes it happens that way. Sometimes some of our favorites we don't actually have a lot of, which is weird. But I was so glad to have this memory come back to me, and I hope you guys really enjoyed this video, because I really wanted to do this video I know it may not hit the algorithm. I know it may not be hugely popular. It may only get a couple of views here and there, but that's okay. You know, I just wanted to make this and share my love with the Universal Monsters, this memory, this video store memory with you guys. And you know, let me know what you guys think about this video in the comment section down below. What are some of your video store memories of the Universal Monsters, or horror, sci-fi, or comedies? Just whatever you really love. Let me know that in the comment section down below, because I love reading through your comments and know what you guys think and interacting with you guys. And if you like this video, please give it a like. And if you liked what you saw, subscribe and hit that bell for notifications. I would truly appreciate that. And share this video out for everybody to see. I thank you for watching. Please have a great, safe, happy, healthy day, morning, afternoon, evening, and night. Godspeed.